A lot of people will say that we are in an interesting time. So it's a moment when the Nigerian Senate and lawmakers are considering two very crucial bills. They are the legislation on social media. I mean, a lot of Nigerians now are on those platforms, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all what have you. But now, this bill that is being proposed, this legislation is aimed at regulating what you say, what you do, and whether you cross the red line on that platform, and the penalty for it of up to 3 years imprisonment. There is another bill, which is the anti-hate speech. That one can also, one can get up to death penalty on that one. So the federal government is also speaking on it. The Minister of Information says the federal government will ensure that social media bill will come and stay. And tonight, we're breaking it down. The sponsor of the bill, Senator Musa Sani, has been speaking with us, and also Senator Sani, a former activist, or whether he's returned to activism, and a former senator. And now we have also a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Falana, who has been very, very outspoken on that matter. We'll go to Senator Sani, and we, for a moment, before we go to Mr. Falana. Senator Sani, please, go ahead on your thoughts, and let's hear your view on what you think could be the future of this bill.
Well, my own is very brief. First of all, what I was saying was that Section 24 of the Cyber Crime Act specifically dealt with the issue of fake news and hate speeches. And I believe that law is enough to handle the fears, the concern that has to do with the rot that comes from the social media. But the Section 22 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria empowered the media and the civil society to perform an oversight function on the government. And I believe when you have such a bill to regulate those that will perform that oversight function, it is simply about silencing them. We have seen what the trend of events now in the country, where people have been arrested and sometimes for simply expressing their opinion. There are criticisms of government and charged for treason or terrorism. An additional law like this will simply affirm that our democracy is simply on the road to sadism. And for me, I think Nigerians need to rise up against any law that will stifle the rights to express their opinion. Unfortunately, my brother here, Sani Musa, a real brother, and we have been arguing this out even before we're here. And I told him that this law, our criticisms and our objection to this law is founded on history. And I don't think anything will stop us from expressing our opinion. We fought to bring about democracy, and we are fighting to defend it. So I believe that the fears are expressed are genuine, that those in power should learn to accept, to endorse, and also to accommodate and tolerate criticisms. We believe that is the oxygen of democracy.
Let me go to Senior Advocate Falana on this one. Mr. Falana, thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. You had said that on the hate and hate speech bill, if it goes further, you are going to drag the National Assembly to court. And you did say that if the National Assembly does not have the legal grounds to pass that bill. This is a bill that looks like it, the social media bill. What is your thought now that the bill has passed a second reading?
Well, thank you very much. My position is that we are operating a federal system of government that has allocated powers to each tier of the government. The National Assembly has powers under Section 4 of the Constitution to make laws for peace and good governance in the country. And its powers are set out in the exclusive legislative list as well as the concurrent list. Anything that is missing from those two lists becomes residual and becomes the exclusive responsibility of state government. I have challenged Senator Sani, Musa and others to show me where the National Assembly has got the power in the Constitution to make laws that are not covered in the exclusive legislative list or in the concurrent list. And my position is this. Each of the state governments in Nigeria, under the penal code in the north and under the criminal code in the south, has made laws against incitement, false information, criminal defamation or criminal libel, and so on and so forth, to take care of the fears of the sponsors of this bill. As of today, like Senator Sani has just mentioned, there are Nigerians who are standing trial under the Cybercrime Act. I'm defending one of them who is alleged to have used the medium of to insult the president of the... And there are other journalists who have been tried for terrorism. The point I'm making, therefore, is that under the current political dispensation, there are enough laws to deal with hate speech in Nigeria. If we're now dealing with incompetence or indolence on the part of the neo-colonial state to enforce the existing law, should not be interpreted, should not be an invitation to go to the drawing board and be giving the country more draconian laws. Again, like Senator Sani just said, the freedom of expression guaranteed by Section 39 of the Constitution cannot be abrogated by people in Abuja who feel disturbed. And as far back as 1983, this matter has been settled by the Court of Appeal in the case of Otonwankwo and the state, when a colonial law, a provision of a colonial ordinance, sedition law, that was localized by the Nigerian indigenous ruling class to harass their opponent, the Court of Appeal made it clear in that case. If you are offended by any publication or any statement, go to court and sue for libel. Senator Musa was just talking about the report that the alleged plan of the president to take a second wife. Science has gone beyond this level. Today, there are gadgets to discover the originator of that rumor. And if you want to deal with it, and if the State Security Service does not have the gadget, we can seize the government to know where the originator of the rumor. From there, you can then decide to charge the person with giving false information. But you can't just say, we are going to introduce the death penalty to deal with anybody who may have used the social media to spread false information. No, we have gone beyond that level. That can only happen in this banana republic. And I mean it. If the National Assembly goes ahead to pass the bill and the president makes the mistake of assenting to the bill, for sure, we are going to court. Because it cannot stand under the current constitutional arrangement in the country.
Mr. Falana, what would you then suggest? Because if you ask some of those who have been terribly affected or their lives have been badly impacted by the effects of what has happened on social media and what they could do in this manner when wrongful information are being spread about them, and the manner in which some people also spread false information on social media, how would you suggest to the government? Because a lot of people will criticize the government also for not taking active decision on some of these wrongful deeds on social media. But what would be the best move to make in this sense?
No, I will just explain this. This afternoon or this morning, the president issued an executive order, Order 009 of 2019. And I asked myself, empowering the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to set up a secretariat to build toilets in the country. And I asked myself, hey, where are we going? How can the federal government be building toilets? By virtue of paragraph 1H of the fourth schedule to the Constitution, the local governments in the country are empowered, exclusively empowered, to take care of the provision and maintenance of public conveniences in the country. So, in the same way, the state governments, the houses of assembly of each of the state, is empowered. A house of assembly of each state is empowered to make laws in these areas where you may have a breakdown of law and order. Currently, again, I can tell you this. A big guy in Abuja, a few months ago, sent me about 10 texts threatening my life. I just laughed at him, and I went to the police to lodge a complaint. And the police said, what do we do, sir? Please charge this guy under Section 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act, which has made more stringent provisions than what Senator Musa is proposing, 300,000 naira. The least punishment there is 3 million naira. The highest punishment under that law is 25 million naira. So the law has taken care of their affairs. Let nobody bring up any law that will provide the death penalty. Are these guys aware that there are 2,000 Nigerians that have been waiting for the hangman for over 20 years because no elected governor, apart from 2 or 3, since 1999, no elected governor is prepared to sign the death warrant. So if you are saying you want to have death penalty for hate speech, and you are going to congest our correctional centers with people who will be waiting for the hangman indefinitely. So please, let us behave like civilized people. If you are offended by any publication, the law is there to help you. Sue for libel. But don't, for heaven's sake, and that is the point Senator Sani was trying to make. The recommendation of the Court of Appeal, in the case I cited, Otto Wankwo and the state, is that any attempt by the government to erode or abrogate our freedom of expression should be resisted. I'm quoting the court. Should be resisted. And in this case, we are going to strike down this attempt to stifle public debates in Nigeria. Anybody who is offended, if you say Mr. Falana is trying to take a second wife and it's not true, my choice is to go to court and sue you for embarrassing me, defaming me because I'm legally married. You are now saying I'm trying to take a second wife. That's the law.
Okay.
That's the law. And you can't go beyond that.
I'll come to you in a moment, Mr. Falana, because I'd like you to touch on the case of Showore. The DSS is asking for his surety and whether you have gone to collect him as his client. As your client. Let me go to Senator Sani Musa now. Senator, you heard what Mr. Falana and Senator Shehu Sani had said, that is perhaps going to be tantamount to a waste of legislative money and time, considering what the cybercrime law provides. What are your reactions to the thoughts of these two learned people?
Yeah, Shehu, with due respect to Mr. Falana, the legal legendary, my bill is something to, that if we come to see what contains in my bill, is something that will meet the technological age we are. We have instant laws. I believe that we have instant laws like the cybercrime and the rest, instant laws that we do have in this country that covers all this. But notwithstanding, with this age of technology today, there are some certain laws that need to be amended. And by right, the National Assembly, I think, have that right to look at every law and see which one needs to be amended or needs to be enacted. And this, my bill, is not far away from that. I cite some examples. There are so many countries that have also looked at doing this, regulating this social media. Social media is not like we are trying to gag people or to gag the media and disallowing people to express their views, express their or free speech. No. But at least there should be some kind of ethical conduct in the way we operate our activities in social media.
Some of the arguments are that, look, Senator, some of the arguments are that some of what you're proposing could be entertained under the Cybercrime Act. Why are you not seeking to amend the Cybercrime Act to include what you're proposing? And the allegations are that these are somewhat some kind of political gimmick to stifle the media and also to harp down on political opposition.
Not at all. There's no any hidden agenda to what we are trying to do. What we are trying to do is to bring our laws also in terms of technology laws that deals with technology, especially communication, to see that we meet like any other country. When he's talking about United States, we are talking about Canada and other advanced countries. They also regulate in a way. There are certain states that you cannot go and just post anything on social media, even in the United States. So I don't know why, people have been very apprehensive about this bill. This bill is not, I'm not bringing this bill in order to witch hunt anyone, but in order to put our social media space, active as well, and then doing it in the right conduct.
Senator, another worry, or a lot of experts have said,
yep.
Senator, apologies to butting. A lot of expert and informed opinions are that, look, if you want to regulate what goes on, why not approach the service providers, the operators, and the inventors of some of these platforms? You saw what happened in the United States, where the CEO of Facebook was called to the Congress to answer questions on what goes on Facebook. Why is the National Assembly not looking in this direction?
Then you see, a lot of people have not even seen the legislation. You have not even seen the bill. I think they should have seen the bill before commenting. Most of them have not seen the bill. The activists are walking, all crying foul of something they have not even read. You need to see it. The regulators or the communication companies that provide these services, this my bill touch on them. There are certain things that they should not be able, they should guide themselves by doing. Example, if someone lodged a complaint about something and went to court and was able to have a court order to stop them from disseminating that information and they still go ahead to doing it, my bill provides a position for that gentleman to go to court and still seek for redress.
Senator Shehu Sani, coming into the conversation now. Senator Shehu Sani, are you convinced with the explanation of Senator Sani Musa on this one? Are you convinced at all?
Well, I believe that as the author of the bill, he had a duty to defend it. But as far as I'm concerned and other concerned Nigerians are also concerned, is that we should be able to look at the processes of the bill, appear before the public hearing, and then make our points known and to see how we can stifle that bill. And then if we don't do that, it's going to scale through that process, and then it will eventually become a law. When we say we are opposed to any bill that will regulate our right to express our opinion, is founded on the fact that in the last few years, we have seen how people in the position of power have become more intolerant to expression of opinion on social media. And this social media has become the medium where young and old people have always used to inform each other and draw the attention of people in government and also hold government accountable. So when you have such a regulation that will be used by those in the position of office to silence them, I believe that that is a very dangerous cause for our democracy.
Senator,
The ruling
in
party
essence,
and
you are
those in
saying that
government
this bill
came
is
into
dead on
power with the
arrival,
use of
or you are
social
going to
media.
kill it at the public hearing stage. Is that what you're saying, Senator?
No, you can't kill it at the public hearing stage, but you have to be there to express your opinion for those who are working on the bill to know the feeling of Nigerians. And then from there, when it finally comes to the floor of the Senate, there will be a voting on it. And I believe that as genuine representatives of the people, they have to listen to the people because this has a very grievous implications for our democracy and also for the stability
Senator,
of our country.
Let's take another break. But when we come back, a bit more to talk about. We'll approach the home stretch of the program, but I'll allow Senator Sani Musa to give his final thought on what this matter and the agitations on the minds of a lot of Nigerians. Don't forget that Mr. Femi Falana will be talking to us also about Mr. Showore, consistency project, and some other issues. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. So let's get the view and the final thought of the final submission at this point from Senator Sani Musa. You heard your colleague there on the floor, Senator Chimaroke Nnamani, on this one. In fact, a lot of people said, look, this bill must die. Senator Sani Musa, what are your views, your final thoughts on the program?
If you have heard Senator Nnamani Moroke very well, you know that he is not talking about my bill. He's talking about hate speech bill, which someone proposes with the death penalty. My bill is not hate speech bill. My bill is to do with falsehood and manipulation on the internet. So there are two different bills. He raised, and he was talking about a different bill completely. So my final thought about this thing is to assure Nigerians that I, Muhammad Sani Musa, is one person that believes in the fundamental freedom of every Nigerian to free speech. Every day, I spend close to 16 hours on the internet. I'm using the social media more than any other person. So I believe I know what it takes to gag somebody, to strip someone from using what he is used to doing. But what I'm saying is that you can use the social media for 24/7, but make sure that what you are throwing over to the reading public, you are not throwing something that will create apprehension, create confusion in the society, falsification, telling lies about people. And look, laws are made to make societies better. I believe this bill, if it goes through, is not only going to make the social media better, but it is going to make it even more credible.
All right,
We
Senator.
have very
All right,
few
let's.
of Chinese
I guess that's a very good point that you've made on your position. Let me go to Mr. Falana. I don't know if Mr. Falana has some views on this one, but I would like to ask you. The DSS is saying that they wanted the surety to Mr. Omoyele Sowore to come forward to collect him, but they've not found it. Who is the surety to him since you are his lawyer, and when will he be collected at the DSS office?
Well, I think this State Security Service, DSS is his alliance, is playing a hide and seek, a very dangerous game with the liberty of citizens of this country. I couldn't believe that an intelligence agency would say publicly that some Nigerians prefer to remain in custody as opposed to enjoying their freedom in their homes. For me, I think that kind of statement reduces us as a people, as part of the civilized humanity. In the case of Sowore and Bakari, mind you, two of them are detained, even though the SSS appears to be, has some fixation on Mr. Omoyele Sowore. 4 conflicting reasons have been adduced in the last 10 days to justify the contemptuous disregard for the orders of court. Mind you, the first time we were told nobody has shown up in the office of the SSS to ask for the release of both gentlemen. Secondly, we were told when my lawyers and some of my colleagues and their family members reported at the SSS office, we were now told no, we want only their sureties. And when we made it clear to the State Security Service, these are not your detainees. They are detained by the court in your custody. The same court has verified the sureties and has ordered you to release them. In fact, the SSF was not convinced by our explanation. They sent masked officials to the court and asked for the file. And the court said, how dare you? We committed people to your custody. We are satisfied that they should be released. How dare you to ask us for the details of the sureties? And you know what they were planning to do? Is to arrest the sureties under the pretext that they were verifying them afresh and then keep them for a week or two, during which time they will force them to regret standing sureties for both gentlemen and they would then withdraw their sureties. So when we defeated the SSS on that score, a third reason was advanced. Oh, these people, both gentlemen, as well as Colonel Sambo Dasuki and Sheikh Zaki and his wife, like to be detained in our custody. We are providing them all the facilities, perhaps they could not even get in their homes. A TV set for each of them, telephones, a handset, and so on and so forth. Again, we have reacted to say that these reasons are rather bonkung.
All right.
The last one now.
Mr. Falana,
I
we
think
need
this is
to
the
go
most
now
ridiculous.
because we are out of
Yesterday,
time.
the State
I
Security
must sincerely
Service
thank you
Oh,
for your thought. But
if
let
we
me
release Mr.
give
Shore-
Mr. Senator Shehu Sani just about 30 seconds to give us a closing remark on the program, and it's going to be about the constituency project. Should go or to stay? In 30 seconds, Senator Shehu Sani.
Well, constituency projects as generalized by Mr. President is absolutely wrong. And I believe that as it is on the ground, it is the executive that execute constituency project. You, as a senator or a member of House of Reps, you simply mention where you want your allocation to be domiciled. And they are the ones who award the contract and execute the contract. And it is wrong for him to make such a generalization because 1 trillion for 10 years does not mean 1 trillion has been actually been funded. So I think he needs to go back and do what needs to be done. Well, after all, the ICPC has been going around investigating all these projects. So,
Thank you so much, Senator Shehu Sani, for those
one
thoughts.
agency of government.
Also, Senator Sani Musa, thank you so much for your thought tonight, as well as Senior Advocate Mr. Femi Falana. Thank you so much for your thoughts tonight, gentlemen, on the program. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye for now.